Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Christina. Check out this exclusive conversation with the one and only Jamie Foxx.
Can I testify tonight?
Talk about, did you have any inhibitions? What was your process at the beginning of those big, powerful scenes that you had to go mano a mano?
To be honest with you, I was nervous as jacks, man. I'm not gonna lie to you because this is completely different from doing, your regular, you go sing and, maybe do some acting on stage, but then this is your like something huge, right? So I go in, and when I was preparing for it, I didn't know really what to expect. You know what I'm saying? So like it was more so I wanted to make sure that if anything, I wanted to make sure that Twinkie was proud, because all of the stories that I heard about her back, like the stuff that we don't see on YouTube and all that stuff. So I wanted to make sure that what I was asking Kiara, and one of my managers grew up under their tutelage as well. So I wanted to make sure that what they were telling me was accurate enough for that film so that she could be like, you know what, you were acting just like me. And she did, because I didn't want Christina to step into it. I'm like, I speak quick. I'm real fast. I really don't think a lot about what it is that I'm about to say, but she's more laid back. She's cool. She's calm and collected. She's thinking about what it is that she's going to say. She's also really, just wanting to make sure that everybody's happy. So she kind of, she's like, I don't want to really say nothing. And then when those moments came when she was feeling like, I'm going to use the word violated as far as her gifting was concerned, she started saying, you know what, now this is enough. Like, I really want to experience life for myself. And I wanted to make sure that I got that out to people, that they understand that it wasn't like the decisions that she made. Let's just say about the giving her catalog away. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that people understood that it wasn't about her purchasing a car. Like a lot of people kind of get confused and mixed up. It was more so about, I'm making a decision for myself.
Yeah.
Like they're only talking about this car situation. I'm like, no, y'all got to go far beyond that. She wanted to make decisions. Her sisters got the opportunity to make decisions without their mom. She didn't. And so, it got to that place where she was like, okay, I got to say something. And I got to step out of being in the background as far as my life is concerned. So now let me say something.
Miss Bell, but you tripping though.
Uh-oh.
Because you telling me you nervous. And I'm telling you right now, you on that whooping, you whooping tail. You in them scenes, and you are doing. Listen, now I get all that. I want to know where the talent came from. I want to know what gave you the audacity to think you could come up on this screen and do that. I want to know what was some of the benchmarks in your head that you put on just the acting side. Now I will let you answer the question, and then I will give you my thoughts. But I want to know what was those moments like from because here you go, the music that was in your comfort zone, I think.
Right.
Here comes the big scenes. Here comes the scene on the stairs. It's three things: the scene on the stairs, then with the husband, and then in the hospital. Just please give us a little in-depth on that, because I want to put this out here.
Honestly, thinking about what I had. Nope. Bring it back, Christina. Okay. So I was about to start crying. No,
you want to cry, baby? Listen, if you want to cry, go ahead and cry. This is us, because I cried. You made me cry. We cried, man. We want to know.
We cried together. Okay. So I honestly went back to what I dealt with personally. I connected with Twinkie in a way that I don't think that any of the other girls could have. I've dealt with, even though Shalea has as well, but I dealt with divorce And I'm gonna just be honest with you, we ain't friends. You know, so I
You're
went
not
to
friends
that
with the
place.
guy you divorced with.
Right. And that's my daughter's dad, you
Yeah.
know, and so it's difficult to have to relive that on screen because sometimes I was like, wow, this is me. Like, this is my life. This is what I had to go through. And, you know, having to think about those moments. And then you were talking about the hospital scene. Like, I honestly should have been there.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I really, really should have been where she was, even though it was for a separate cause. But I think everything just kind of like bombarded her at once. And so that's where she was left, you know, like just kind of not really wanting to even be here anymore. And just going crazy, to be honest with you. And that's where I was. That's where I was in my life after my divorce. And it was really difficult. So I went there. I made sure that once they said cut, I came back to myself because being in that position like all day long, it takes a toll on you, and you start thinking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and you know. So I was trying to snap back and get myself together, but it took me going there.
Oh, and a lot of people don't understand that when you do get in, you do don these characters, and you go there in your mind, it can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
Specifically though, those scenes when you're in that in your apartment with the new husband, and just talk about some of the mechanics of that day on what you guys had to put your mindset in
Ooh.
and get that in order to get that energy, because you had this thing where it was like, ooh, she's got this docile, she's trying to, I mean, you were doing everything. Talk about the mechanics of that day.
So that particular day, Ronnie actually reached out to me before we got on set, and he was asking me if I was all right because he knew what we were about to come up against, you know. And we definitely had a very in-depth conversation about what was expected. You know, he's got seniority over me in film and in television, so I took what he was saying. You know, make sure that I'm, you know, not thinking too much into it. Because at first, when I first got on set, I was really, really deep in my feelings and thinking a lot about what if I don't give the right tone as far as this particular scene deserves. And he was like, get out of your head. But you actually have to do this so that people can see what it was that she had to endure, right? So that day it was really difficult for me, to be honest with you. Again, that was those feelings of what I had to go through myself came back up, and they were boiling. You know what I'm saying? So like last year, to be honest with you, I was upset in some moments. It made me want to just call. It made me want to reach out and be like, why did you do this, this, and this? You know what I'm saying? Like it put me there. You know what I'm saying? So that day was, I had to make sure though that I checked myself, and I was making sure that I didn't do too much, like going extremely too far, because I know what I would have did. Twinkie did something different from what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be, what's love got to do with it?
Listen.
You got to be, oh, you got to have your cigarette like this.
Listen.
You over here, you know, you know when you get real about you.
Absolutely.
Really calm and cool, everything on fire, everything broke up. He in there. Well, where is he? He in there.
Yes. How do you know?
Because you cannot get to some of these characters, and you've proven this, without having these personal experiences. There's no way you could paint that picture, I believe, if you didn't have depth or valleys that you've gone through and been hurt in order for you to tap into that. And that's a scary place to be in. It's also an artistic, fortunate place to be in, because some of our best music, some of our best television, some of our best movies have come from places of pain. And I applaud you, because you allowed the faucet to be turned on, and then had your hand on it to be able to turn it off. So we could have moments like these where we could sit back and reflect on it. But I could tell you that everybody calls me, especially when it comes to Twinkie, man. We all love Twinkie, and for her, quietly was something marvelous. Because if you look at Ingenue's character, boom, it's this. It's in your face. It's boom, boom. But sometimes it's hard. If we're talking about basketball, I was just watching The Last Dance, and Michael Jordan was the engine, but he needed to pass that ball to somebody who hadn't touched the ball in a long time, and that person has to catch it in the most critical moment, shoot it to make it. And I equate that to you to where this is going to be the most pivotal moment, because without your performance, the Mrs. Clark's performance won't be balanced. The way you well, give me the line. The line is you wanted the son. I wanted a mother, and you wanted an organ player. I need to know that line. I need to know that line. You said what?
I said, yeah, I need you, but I need my mother. You just want an organ player.
Listen.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I think a lot of people actually, that's I'm going to say in the church, because that's all I know. But I think a lot of people in the church actually felt that because they're trying to make their parents happy. They're trying to make sure that they don't make them upset with the decisions that they make. You know what I'm saying? Like if they want to switch over to, let's just say, mainstream, and the parents ain't really down for it. I'm gonna be honest with you, and my mom is good with me talking about it now. But when the group that I used to sing in, when we started out, we wanted to do some mainstream music as well. We wanted to do secular. We wanted to get out there, and we were kids. Like I was in the 6th grade, so we wanted to do that too. My mama said, no, you better sing you some Jesus music and call it a day. I was like, all right, cool deal. That's what's up.
and I'm glad you're saying that, because people don't know. Look, I missed out on a lot of music growing up. I had to get music after I got out of my grandmother's stead, because I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music. Like I couldn't and this is, I mean, you talk about Michael Jackson is coming through in '83.
Right.
Prince, and here's the thing about Prince. We love Prince because Prince would play them chords. And some of our music directors, God bless Paul Jackson. He would take some of them chords, just like how they play them chords in the church. We'd be like,
right.
Boy.
But you're like, how do you know about these chords though? You know what I'm saying? So wait, what you been listening to? You know what I'm
saying? And that was the thing. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. But it was an issue. I remember learning how to do the moonwalk in the 7th grade, and I'm doing the moonwalk. Oh, it was the 8th grade, doing the moonwalk, and a car screeched because I was outside, and I hear, and Miss Thomas go, boy, I know you ain't doing no moonwalk. You ain't dancing. And she went and told the preacher on me. And Rev McClendon called me and said, I understand that was some dancing going on, some moonwalking. I was just learning to dance. Rev McClendon, well, if you're going to walk, you should walk towards Jesus. You should moonwalk toward the Lord. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? So, come on. But that's why this piece and what you did means so much to me, because now I can see how you can step into this part, do it as brilliantly as you do it, and you did it so brilliant. I'm just wondering now, and I want to be able to, hopefully you allow me to use this, but I want to know now what is next. But I know you have the music that you have, and we want to know now, is it going to be more acting? Is it going to be, what's on the horizon?
Yeah, I'm going to be in a movie with you, of course.
Done deal, Miss Bell. When I tell you, hey, and I'm dead. When I say I'm dead serious, we
Oh
have
yes, I am too.
we have a movie right now. The working title is called Melodies from Heaven, but that's just a working title. But I would love to talk to you, pitch it to you after this. I think you will love it. There are some great roles in it, and it's about two preachers. One preacher, which is basically my life. My pastor, where I played, wouldn't allow us to rock, clap, none of that.
Really?
None of that. We ain't doing all that clapping and rocking. I said, but the federation is coming up and we gonna be up against these other big churches. We got the rocking. I ain't doing none of it. Luckily, however, we had two incredible families. We had the Wyatt family and the Joneses, and all the Joneses sons. They were like the Clark sisters mixed with the Winans.
Yeah.
Hold our own. We basically took this. A friend of mine wrote this, and it's basically two preachers. One preacher is the young mega church preacher, no Bibles, iPads. It's big. His brother is older than him, who is, look, I'm not going to do that because I think that somehow diminishes what we think about the Lord. And so it's them sort of coming to middle ground, and the younger pastor is dealing with something. He's dealing with an ailment, and they basically have to switch because he can't preach one day in this big church, and the older brother comes to the big church, and you see him look at this church, and he goes to pulls out his Bible that his mom had gave, because his mom gave him a Bible, the old black, used, you know what I'm saying? And he says,
right.
Open your Bibles, and he sees them all go on their iPads. And somehow the iPads this day, there's no service. And so he says, I don't need to charge this, as he's flipping.
Wow.
And he gives this incredible sermon. And they love it, but at the same time, he's so not for the future that his own church is falling by the wayside economically, because he won't rock, he won't do these things. So it's this great story, great characters that I think that if you will allow us to pitch it to you, and if you feel like it's something that you would like to do, it is already written, it is already funded, and we will be so happy. You can sift through it and say whatever part you want to take, but it's some really great parts that and it's not you're not going to be Twinkie.
You know right. I got
you. But it'll be something that I feel like I always have to give back to my community. When I was, my daughter, who's 11 now, but when she was like 3, my boy came from Texas. I'm from Texas. He came to visit me in Texas, and came to visit me in LA. And he got his sons with him. His sons are 4 and 5. And he brings the sons up to me and says, hit it. And they do all the books of the Bible. And I was like, oh. Really? And then my boy's like, what you want? What your daughter doing? Because at 4 years old, we all had to learn. At 4, it was Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st, 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, you know what I'm saying? Zephaniah, Haggai, Malachi. I had to know all of them. So I told my daughter, I said, look, we got to get on the stick, baby. So I taught her I quietly taught her all the books of the Bible. Next time I saw my boy and I had her, I said, hit it. She said, Genesis, Exodus, she hit it. So it's certain things that no matter, and people know this about me, no matter what life I've lived, I always got to give back to that. I always feel like if I float too far away from what got me here, I feel strange. So for me, the way to do it is to give back artistically, to say, hey, this is a great story that we can still hold on to and give our kids balance. Right. Opportunity to have God in their lives, and allow them to still have their own, decision on what they think it is. But I want to be able to give it to them in a way where they have it.
Right.
Because I tell people all the time, I said, people talk about they don't really believe in certain things like that, but we always go, oh my God. We always go, Lord, please.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
Lord.
So that being said, I would love to slide that to you and just, you have a read through it, and I can email it to you, and then you let me know the proper people to talk to. I don't be doing the friend stuff. I want to talk to whoever the business.
Come on.
Don't be like, don't be hitting me with the don't friend me, Jack. Don't friend me. Get it to the peoples now. You know what I'm saying? Have you been getting a lot of offers? I'm sure.
I have, especially now that we're in, quarantine. But my people are on it. They're like, yep, no, it's a no go. Yeah, it's a no go. Because of course you can't just do everything. Everybody's, asking that you be available for this or that, and you're like, yeah, I can't.
Yeah, well, I always, that's the first thing I do is say I want to respect your team, because I know they've done such a fantastic job. And I mean, now just to see you lighten it up, man. Like when I saw y'all on that Zoom call and heard y'all sing together. Talk about how does that feel now? Now we don't always stay in contact with everybody that we work with, but I did feel like you guys had a cool vibe. Seemed like it was
we still talk.
Well, that's great, because sometimes you say cut.
Right. I heard about that. I did. I heard about that. Yeah. But no, we decided to actually build a bond. Like we really, really love each other. We support each other. We post about each other still to this day. Once, as a matter of fact, the first day that we got there, actually Christine was the one that made us do this. She said, hey, I'm going to give everybody each other's phone numbers before we go to set or anything. Reach out to your sister. That's what she would say. Reach out to your sister. Reach out to your sister. Mm-hmm. So we started reaching out to each other. By the time we get to Canada, we're there, and the first day is the table read. So we walk in and we act like we know each other and been seeing each other every single day, like we blood sisters, So we were hugging and everything from day one, and then ever since then we've been in a group chat. We talk to each other all the time, make sure that we're okay, share different whatever is happening with us. So yeah, we kept it sisters, and yeah, we good.
You know what? That's great, because I could tell you this too. I could tell that there is a definite leader in this director that you had. Miss Swanson was she definitely dialed that in. Just speak on, what that was like, having a person who, look, I always say this. I'm used to a dominant director. When I have docile directors, it worries me, because I don't like a director that's not like on my head. Like F. Gary Gray, who shot NWA, he shot Friday. I mean, he's just amazing. Mm-hmm. I work with him, but he's also a friend of mine. But we worked together, and the first day I did my thing, and he called me at 2:00 in the morning. He said, "What was that?" I jumped up and, What? What's that, J. Fox? That's what we doing? We ain't giving it? I mean, whoa. Just let me know, bro, what's going on, because you phone it in, I'll cell phone mine in too. I said, but I'm put my glasses on. What did I do wrong? What should I do, sire? I was like, won't give it. I'm scared. I was like, shook. It's the homie.
Oh my gosh.
To be in my crib all the time. He said, what? You don't get it together. And I needed that challenge,
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to know from you, how was that with the leader, Miss Swanson?
Christine is definitely dominant. She wants what she wants. And I think that her doing that got us what we have today. It was no let's push that to the side. Nah, it was this is what we're gonna do. As a matter of fact, I think I posted something, and we were sitting at the table and we were about to go into a scene, and I'm filming or whatever for the behind the scenes, and Christine walks in And she's not paying no attention to me. She's like, yeah, so you guys are going to do this, this, and this. And she always bites her nail or whatever. She's like, yeah, so you guys are going to do that. I said, Christine, say hi. She said, hi. So yeah, you guys, like, you know, she's just in the zone. And so I can appreciate that about her. You know, she had a vision. And everybody's been talking about this because this is so great, but she had a vision that made this film what it is. Like, okay, we can work with people that can't act. We need some actual singers that can actually pull this off. And you don't want to just give the Clark sisters just anything. She's from Detroit, so she wanted to honor them the best way possible. So she was like, yeah, so everybody get you a coach, okay? And this is what we're going to do. And all of our coaches were absolutely phenomenal, absolutely amazing. Stevie was my coach, Stevie Meredith, and she's the one that helped me to actually tap into Twinkie. She was like, Christina, you have to calm down. Like you're like speeding through everything. So she's the one that told me to calm it down or whatever. She got exactly what it was that she wanted out of the film. So, I mean, if that's what she got to be in order to get what she got, I'm good.
Yes. And listen, talk about this though, because I wanted to get just a little bit into this, is when you get to the hospital and you're having a breakdown, how did Christine protect you? Because a lot of people don't, know that when you open yourself up like that, you need somebody to protect you. Talk about what tools that she gave you during that scene.
That is so crazy that you would ask me that. How do you know that?
I got to, but you must have
been through this before.
I'm like, okay, let me get to about the depths. Okay, do that. I got to know. Because you are a case study of what I've always said to everybody in Hollywood, that if you give us a chance, we will shock you. But on that, just give us what she did to be able to protect you in that scene.
She definitely kept coming in after. First of all, this was a main thing for me. She said, okay, so this is what we're going to do today. And I need to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And she didn't want for me to be in a place where I was actually dealing with something mentally myself.
Yeah.
So she was like, I need you to be okay. Every time they said cut, she was always the first person that said, are you okay? And she would literally just stand there beside me with her hand on my shoulder until they were ready to go back and we start back filming again. Like it was every single time. And so I think it mattered to her where all of us were mentally for whatever part, because everybody had to go through something mentally, right? Yeah. So I think it mattered to her a great deal. And I don't know for sure if she's ever dealt with something like that before, but, obviously being on set, she knows what it is that the actor is having to face and to be in that place. I'm sitting in here in a mental institution having to think about what happened to my mom and I was not there. Yeah. It really takes you to a place where you're like, so what do I do if my mom passes? You know what I'm saying? Like, put you in that zone. Like, I really honestly was thinking about all of that stuff because that's heavy. Yeah. That's absolutely heavy. And so I was appreciative of Christine. A lot of the times, she was on us heavy. She was like wanting to make sure that this was going to be great, but she definitely protected me that way for sure.
Well, listen, I could tell you, for those of us watching and calling on the phone saying that you're watching the scene and we DVR'd it so we can go back and and study, you accomplished something that is a veteran move. And I don't even know doing it if you were aware of it. But it's what some of our military guys come back from. They call it the yard stare. And if you study that scene, and the way you looked, as if it was like if you were looking into a different dimension, and the camera work and how you guys connected at that time drew us in like this, because we were this the whole movie. We were like this,
Right.
And then you pulled everything here like this, and
Right.
I can tell you that I study cinema, and there's a movie called One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that Jack Nicholson is in, and if you ever get to watch that, and do something fun before you watch it, because it's a story, but it's about a guy who ends up going to a mental institution to sort of beat a rap, and he meets all of these other people that have these things about him that he finds out that they're actually not as crazy as people think they are, but there's a couple of moments of performances of people in there that had that. But this is a veteran move, Christina, that you're doing. So I don't know how and where say it came from God, but it was amazing, and we thank you for that.
Yeah, my brother kept telling me, he was like, yeah, so you've been working all your life for this. I won't tell you everything that he said, but he was like, yeah, you've been working all your life for this. Yeah, you definitely. Huh?
Why did he say that?
Because when I was younger, I used to lie a lot.
Wow.
Dude, I used to just lie for no reason. Like, it wouldn't be nothing going on. And I know I did it, And so now lying irritates me for some reason now.
Yeah, you're doing
it. But my brother was like, yeah, you've been working all your life for this. You've been practicing and all that stuff, all your lies and stuff, it worked out for you.
Oh man. Ain't that great to have something great like that happen, and someone like your brother still just keep you just so calm and cool.
Because this is difficult. I mean, I've even told you, I had to switch some things in my life, as far as my number and all that stuff, so this is difficult kind of having to transition, because people no longer, and now I get where y'all's minds may be from time to time, which is, why don't you think that I'm human still? Like, I'm still a human. I still deal with life. I'm just here as an entertainer for you, not necessarily that I'm nobody. I still have feelings. I still got a heart. I still got blood flowing through my veins. Like, don't see me as something that's more than what I really am, because at the end of the day, I still bleed the same way that you bleed.
But gone are the days. One day is gone, baby. This is what I would tell you. This is what I would tell you.
Yes, please help me.
This is what you need to do. Set your life up like the Pentagon. On the outskirts, there are people that you wave your hand at and that you have an occasional run into, but they don't have your cell phone number. As it gets closer to you, maybe someone has your email, but they don't have your cell phone number. But as it gets closer to you, maybe people have your cell phone number, but they don't know where you live, or they don't come to your house. And then you keep that small and according to the people that you went into this with, the ones that you trusted, the ones that you that has not changed.
Yeah.
The ones like my sister is your brother. She's like, I ain't calling you Jamie Foxx. Your real name is Eric Bishop. I'm calling you. So keep, and that's the hardest thing, to keep that person around, because that person that undresses you, no matter how big you get, but that person, now that's going to be tough, because sometimes they may go a little too far. And I had to go tell my sister, I said, hey, give me a little room. Yeah. But those people that speak truth to you, no matter what, you will always have to value. And then at the same time, go back to the hunger. Go back to your people and your friends. Give me a workplace space.
Right.
Just go work, because now the only thing that's going to matter is two words in your acting career. The two words are action and cut. And everything you do in between that is the most important thing, and that's all you got to worry about. The other stuff will take care of itself. Now, when it comes to the limelight, think about the amount of time, because I got a lot of famous friends that come to this house all the time. I would love to have you here, and we have a brunch. We have a brunch.
I'm coming to Jamie Foxx's house.
Honey, we need to have the brunch, Christina. We need to have
Come on.
we come on and we had a brunch. And I have a lot of people come here, and therefore I am a bit of their Dr. Phil. I am a bit of their. I've counseled them, from Justin Bieber to Chris Brown to Oprah Winfrey, to a lot of these people that will call me and ask me things. And I would say, you have a different light on you. You have to be prepared for the balance, because for every bit of light you have, there is darkness to balance it out. So you got to recognize your darkness. That's the one thing I always tell people: recognize what your darkness is. Those friends that come from out of nowhere, just recognize. You mean you have to be mean? You know what I'm saying? But you have to protect yourself. And then when it comes to your fans, everything is 6 seconds. Can I have a picture? 1, 3, 5, 6. It's 6 seconds. So when you want to have your fans, get out there and understand that it'll be 6 seconds, no more than 8 seconds. You'll do something for them that they can take for the rest of their lives. When you don't want to see the fans and you need time for yourself, just go chill. Just go chill, because now everybody gonna be looking. Man, I ran. And she act like, So I say this: the other side of is readying yourself for your success. You ready yourself. When it's time for you to open up, okay, everybody come on in. Everybody come on in now. And then when it's time for you to close it off, get somewhere that's quiet where you can get back, and always remember that it's your talents that will sustain you, and that will make your talents your talents will make the critics smile. That's I live in a world full of actor critics. Like, they're actresses, but they're really like, I don't know what the third act, and I don't be right. I'm just like, I'm eating my popcorn. So when you make them smile, Christina, like you made us do, when you move us, when you come from out of nowhere, it's amazing. And I hope that those few things will help you. But please, please come here and let us. I've done parties for Puff, Missy, Little Kim, Drake, Ross, the whole Olympic basketball team. I've had David Blaine. I have all of these different things. I call it On My Balcony. And basically I have all of the people that I run into and I'm artistically moved by. I had Denzel sitting just over my shoulder at this table. And then I said, D, I'm doing this little thing. Just come by. And he sat down, and all of us just sat at his feet, and he just gave us, these incredible stories and tools. And so please allow me to have you come here. And we'll say, look, all of my friends play in the church. They all, you know the Burrells.
Yeah.
All those my people. And
wow.
Yeah, all of my, so everybody is in my band. When I go out on my tours, they're all from church. So we'll look. I'm gonna see if this works. Hold on. Okay. So I'll show you the way my house is set up. Right?
Okay.
So if you can see this. So what I did with my house was I turned my house into a bit of you see that? That's a stage.
Yes.
So I turned my living room into these sort of like speakeasy stages to where people come and we fellowship musically, or people do spoken word. They do spoken word, or they and we got this thing called New Music Hour. So what that is like Ed Sheeran slept on my couch.
Oh my God!
Everybody sleeps on the couch. Ed Sheeran slept on the couch. Neo's been over here when Nick Cannon was 13. Everybody. So Ed Sheeran, this white boy found me out. Came over. He was on my couch for 6 weeks, and my daughter was like, "Who is that now, Dad? Who you got in here now?" I said, I think the white boy got it. So I took him to. I said, "Man, I think you got it, but I'm gonna take you to this night that I was doing at the time, a live night in L.A." And I take him, and it was all black people, like 800 black people, singing and dancing. So these singers are like some singers that sing behind Sting and Mariah Carey, and rappers. I mean, black though.
Yeah,
black. Yeah, ain't even no light skin. It's black. Just,
that was nigga.
Light skin people. was all just singing and sweating, and it was an amazing night. But then I said, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Sheeran, and that white boy popped out, and it was almost a riot. They said, man, what is it? Because we kept the level of the music up here, and they thought, I was making a mockery of my night. And so my boy Charlie Burrell, great guitarist, he said, yo, Fox, what is this, man? You know how we keep the room. And I looked at him and I said, it was just like almost like a Disney movie. I said, well, let's just see what the kids got.
Uh-oh.
The boy pulled out a ukulele on them black folks. Pulled out a ukulele, man. They almost started booing. But within 12 minutes, he got a standing ovation. And the next thing you know, he went on to be Ed Sheeran. Basically, we have people. How we find, sometimes that's how we discover talent. I brought Drake here. We had 2,800 people here when Drake came here. And we do new music hour. And what that is for an hour at my parties, anyone who can sing, dance, act, spoken word, whatever you have artistically, we're allowed to perform. You're allowed to perform. And I will have, but here's the thing. Here's the one rule. We are courteous. We are connected. There's no booing, no laughing. Yeah. And you would be surprised at some of the things that we found. We had Chris Brown here one time, and this one kid says, I don't sing, Jamie, but I write and produce. Could I play a record? And he played a record. And I think the record was called Red Lights, and Chris heard it, and they left here and went and cut it for his album. And that guy now still does songs.
Come through.
So I would love to invite you when this lifts up. I think we'll all need to stretch our legs a little bit, and we would love to come and celebrate you. And you will give me that information of you people so we can send you through this. And then there's no pressure. If this is not right for you, I guarantee you I will find something that will and that's it.
You're the best.
All I want.
I wanted to ask you something. You said something about or you said something about how you basically keep your friends and everything. Like, how long did it take you to get to that place though? Like, even though you knew that the friendship thing would kind of explode and expand or whatever, but like, how long did it take you to get to that place where you're like, okay, now that's enough now?
Well, you know what? It's an interesting thing. Being the comedian is a little bit different from the singer, from the actress.
Okay.
Being a comedian, I'm able to fend off certain things because of my personality. So vocalize. Man, if you don't get you know what I'm saying?
Right.
While in the position of you or other people like yourself, sometimes you don't have that ability to have that type of, if you're not known for that type of maybe sharpness of tongue or saying, hey, I don't want to do it. So it was a little bit different. But what I did notice was this, is that coming from Texas, my friend that I've had now, I'm 52. We basically been friends for 51 years. We were in the same baby. His name is Gilbert Willie. So that's the guy. No matter what happens, he always pulls me and says, remember Terrell, Texas. Remember what you was taught in church. Remember what we taught you. Remember what, and I would constantly have him come see me. I would constantly let him see what it is and let his eyes tell me who's the good and the bad. Because when you're in it, you this. And then he'll say, I don't trust dude. What? I just heard him say something. So you got to have that. And then you have to have this sort of freedom to allow yourself to be open to things and just, just be aware. And as far as the time that it takes, you don't know. The one thing that you try to do, or that you want to do, is that if you're blessed to be able to go from project to project, a lot of times you don't have as much time to be brought down with some of the bull stuff that's going on. So what I would try to say is, if you stay busy in what you want to do, people ain't got time. They ain't got time. They don't have time to make it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that's what I would tell you is, don't get distracted, because a lot of people will try to come and distract you with all these other things that won't have you focusing on your music, focusing on your career, and then focusing on your life. And so, I would say just keep it in the minimal. If they weren't here, we use that term all the time, the day ones. day
Yeah.
one. Them day one, those day ones, and those day ones will challenge you too, because they're
Yeah.
going to be afraid that you're going to leave them, and that you're gonna grow, and maybe I won't be as important to you in your life. And I talk to a very, very big star all the time. He would call me, and him, one of the biggest stars in the world. And I would tell him he was having a situation. I said, "You know why they say it's lonely at the top?" He said, "Why?" Because a lot of times we don't bring nobody with us.
Whoa.
We get to the top. Let that person, your friend, see what the top looked like. Let that person understand what it took to get to the top.
Okay.
And they go back and they settle into their own lives, and people start yapping and backbiting and say, "No, no, 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 no. He or she took me there. I saw what it
Mm.
there. You're not gonna disrespect. You're not gonna treat them a different way,
Right.
because it's
Right.
so we have to also be mindful of ourselves, because our boastfulness and our whatever we have inside of us, it could get loose too. I'm not a
Right.
perfect, and I've been in a situation where I'm smelling my own, you know what I'm saying? And somebody like Andre Harrell will be like, "What's going on with you, country? You acting like you got." So it it's a balancing act. But
Yeah.
look, you got my number, and anything happen, I come all the way running and busting heads. I don't think you understand. People will live a lifetime in our business
Yeah.
and never really get those opportunities to be that great in something great. There's a lot of
Right.
times you'll see a lot of great actors and actresses that'll be great in movies or television projects where the project isn't great itself, but for you to do both, that's something to be applauded, and your family should be happy and proud of you. And hey,
Look, speaking of applause, you, sir, are the first leading, you the black man in the
yeah,
business that has your first Pixar like film, like leading.
yeah, what's interesting about that too is like my little daughter, my youngest daughter, was like, "Dad, you finally doing something. You in Pixar." I was like, "What?" She was like, "You finally made it." But she's 11. She ain't seen all. I said, "Boy, I used to be." She says, "Nah, nah, the Pixar thing." And the other side of it is that not knowing that they didn't have an African American lead, didn't even know that was the 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 situation,
Right.
makes it better. It's like, we're living in a good time. We're on the upswing when it comes to African Americans and black folks in this business, of where you
Right.
we moving, man, and we're taking it. And to a couple of the writers and the guys who's putting together are also African American as well, and so it's a great time, and
Yeah.
I applaud my grandmother for telling me, learn how to play that classical music so you can go on the other side of the tracks in the world. And I applaud
Yeah.
I applaud the Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans, who was on The Living Color. When I walked on that set, I said, "Who the boss?" He said, "Bro, I am." I said, "You run all this, black man?" He said, "Yeah." And I got the black writers and the black people. So I got used to that. I never had a white boss. If I was working with anyone, I would work with them. I wasn't working for them. I went on to have my own show. I was my own boss. So I thank people that I met. I thank Andre Harrell. I thank Quincy Jones. When I met Quincy Jones, "Yeah, man, you should do it, man. We've been doing it for years, baby. Michael Jackson, man, 54 million records, Jamie. We did that, baby." When I went to his house, I said, "Look, Jamie, on the wall, man. It's off the wall. It's 23 million records. And then look, it's Thriller, man. 54 million records, Jamie."
I'm sick of you. I can't. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, man. And then Usher, don't you, Jamie? You know Usher? Yes, man. I met Usher too, man. He reminds me of Michael, man. Growing up, man. Usher, man. He's a cat, man. And Ray Charles, man. You did great with Ray. And then you're talking to Ray. "Hey, you know what? Quincy, man.
Oh my
Cute.
God.
You know what? If you could play the groove, baby, you could do anything." So all of these incredible experiences. and people that I've met.
Oh my gosh. Do you like just sit there and like study? You like, okay, yeah, I can do that.
Well, you know what it is? It's singing because you get the tone. I did this the other day. It's like you get the tone. Like even like to see. Like I said, I threw a party at my house one time, and Jay-Z was there, and he wasn't known at the time. It was Puff's time, and Jay-Z was just standing on the side, but he was marveling at this big little house party that I had. And I said, "What's up, man?" It's a nice party. It's crazy. It's a nice party. It's like this all the time.
I mean, please, not right now. Like,
it's crazy. Started off in Mossy Projects. When we started off, just doing the clothing line. I was talking as far as the rap was concerned. I come from my.
Oh my gosh, you have it all down.
All the way down to this dude.
Yes.
Use Lysol. Everybody can take Lysol. We can take the light.
You know what?
Buddy, COVID-19. We got the test.
Let me stop you before you get to doing Melania Trump, okay? Because I wouldn't be able to take it, okay?
It's like this. This is what I am telling you. Everything that you did when you was a kid, like your brother was saying, continue to do that because that is it. Because
I won't lie.
Well, I mean that too. Something, But what I'm saying is that those things that you did when you were growing up is gold in this. This is what I used to do when I was sitting at the lunch table, and at that time it was Ronald Reagan was, I think, president, and I would do his voice. Well, as a matter of fact, so it was just all of these things that I would do at the lunch table, and as a matter of fact, there you go again. I feel.
Oh my God.
America is one of the all the way up to, and if there's any indication that America is not the most incredible country in the world, and Joe Biden, and here's what's interesting: doing Barack Obama when during the inauguration, I got a chance to actually do his impersonation. In him.
Wow.
Steps at the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm always thankful. I feel like I'm the Black Forrest Gump. I'm always like in these incredible places at the Zoom times and talking to the most incredible people, including Oprah Winfrey, Jamie Foxx. I mean, or if it's Monique, let me tell you something, Jamie. Yes. Hey, sisters. Hey, baby. Yes, I loved you, the Clark sisters, baby. I'm going to tell you something. I loved it. Yes.
Please, I hope to God that you never start doing that for me. I don't want it.
Yeah. We going to do it together.
No, you are absolutely incredible. I'm so honored. Like, seriously, I'm really, really honored that you would even allow me to talk to you about.
It's reciprocated, and I think that we are all the same size when it comes to our art. We're all the same size. And you stand just as tall. When I met Sidney Poitier at Quincy Jones's house, and he says, I saw you one time. You were doing this movie. And he tells me, he says, basically, he says, watching the performances, he said he grew 2 inches watching the performances, but basically that was letting me know that our artistic community is like this, and we got to protect it. And what I have to do is take what was told to me and give to you, so that you can feast on it, and so that when those troubled times comes or whatever, you can lean back on it and say, "Wait a minute, I was told this." Or if you have to, call me and whatever you need, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I want you to continue blessings.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for giving me this. All right, enjoy your day, and I will send that over to your. Send me. You got my info. Hit me. Hit me.
Okay.
Get your air gun ready for Hollywood. All right.
Okay. Oh, I don't know how to do it. I'll let them, but okay.
All right.
Thank you, Jamie. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you. All right.
Have a good one. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Conversations with Christina. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and like. Until next time, people, be prayerful, be positive, be patient. It's all going to work out for the good.
Can I testify tonight?